Hey guys, we're back to this for our 10 minute spoiler review on Spider-Man Brand New Day Part 2. And also the inclusion of Jean Grey. I remember when Stacey Singh was cast in this movie, and I remember we all had to heard all the rumors that she was going to be Jean Grey, and people were theorizing, oh, she'd be Jean Grey. I was so confused, and one of my biggest things is that I love X-Men to an extent. And sometimes Jean can be the most interesting character to me, but the most dull character to me. And I liked how they made her more like an edgier character than previous adaptations. And when I mean edgy, she's edgy all because of what the Department of Damage Control has done to her sister. And I like how the movie frames it like her just doing it just because she wants something. And then we later find out that the person she mentioned, Sarah, was her sister, and she was trying to rescue her sister, only for her to find out that it was already too late. She's gone. Technically, Jean's the villain, but technically Jean's the villain in the same way you would say that Bob was the villain in Thunderbolts, because deep down they have a bunch of good of them, but deep down they have a bunch of a hate, whether to themselves like Bob or to others like Jean. But deep down they have that person, Urson, in their life that pulled them away from the dark and saved them at their most vulnerable. Like with Bob it was Yelena, and with Jean it was Spidey. In the ending scene, when we see Jean talking to May and saying that people loved her not because of her power, because of her your beauty in your own way, just because of who you are, not because of how you look, but who you are inside. That almost brought me to tears. Not even thinking about it is choking me up. Anyways, all the other villains, like Scorpion, I love that we got Scorpion back. Tombstone, I'm kind of sad that he only had two scenes and that's it. But I'm hoping we see more Tombstone in the future. The Hand was very interesting. But they don't really explain about the Hand because my memory of the Defenders is not as big, but I remember that they stopped the Hand back in the Defenders. But that should be it. But I think that's an answer we have to wait for the future to be answered. And his whole interactions with Ned, and at the end he remembers the handshake. Dog, I almost teared up because I just felt happy for Peter. Also, that post-credit scene at the end, where we see the Spider Tracker track Spider-Man outside of Earth, is very interesting and probably setting up for Doomsday. All in all, how to give this movie a solid 9.5 out of 10. Bye. Screw that. I give this movie a 10 out of 10. One of the best Spider-Man movies.